Jarome Iginla. I'm so proud, Iggy, to be able to say that to you for the first time publicly. How does that sound to you? Hockey Hall of Famer Jarome Iginla.
Hi guys, hi Gino, hi Craig. It's extremely special, and you hear the surreal a lot, where we say that as hockey players and stuff, but this truly is. I had a hard time sleeping the last couple nights. Been very excited and a little nervous, and just it brings me back. So it makes you reflect, and you think of so many memories. And starting out my career, I truly never, just making the NHL was such a thrill, and I didn't dream of making it to the Hall of Fame, and the guys that are in and being part of that club. It's a true honor, and I've been extremely blessed, and it's still sinking in, and proud of it, and my family and friends, and it's very, very special.
Jarome, first and foremost, congratulations. And, I've always felt that you've been very unassuming. You just talked about that, getting the call, but there's no question that your career just screams Hall of Famer. But you talk about all the people, and there's been so many people along your journey that have had a profound impact on your career. And, I was fortunate enough to meet your grandparents and your grandfather, Rick, at a very young age. But going back to being a youngster and starting out playing hockey, and how influential your grandparents and first your grandfather Rick, and how influential he was on you, to talk about that from the beginning.
Yeah, just to get into hockey. I mean, my grandpa, my parents were divorced, and from a very young age, from as long as I can remember. And my dad was going to school. They both lived in the Edmonton area. My mom and I lived with my mom. We lived in St. Albert. And my grandparents, if my grandparents weren't there, my mom was busy. She was working a lot. My dad was going to school, had a young family. And my grandparents were there to get me to a lot of sports when my mom couldn't get there. She tried to make as many games as she could, and she made a lot of them. She did. But my grandpa was always there, and he had a love of sports, and passed that on to me, and put me in hockey schools and things, because I started a little bit late. I started about 7 years old, and around St. Albert, Edmonton area, that's not young, So when I started, I was quite a bit behind, but I got in hockey schools. I lived next to outdoor rinks, and had a chance to catch up and really just fall in love with the sport, and grew up in a great minor hockey system in St. Albert. And that's what this does. And maybe it's part of being retired, but it gives me a chance to reflect. And like you say, you think of all the different people that helped me in so many ways, and minor hockey coaches and teammates, and that made it fun and helped me learn. And then through junior, getting a chance to play with the Kamloops Blazers on such a great junior team with so many, older guys that were going on to the NHL, but, took me under their wing. And then you think of the NHL, and, coming in, and, James Patrick, and, Theo Fleury was there, and guys that, showed you how to compete, and all the way through my career, and then all the great players I played with. And it could go on forever, some of the unbelievable passers. And, I think of the draft, just all the memories, getting a chance to get drafted in Edmonton. And I never would have dreamt this. Like I say, I truly didn't. And, as the career goes on, and people talk about it, and, and there's kind of that hope, and you kind of look at it, later in my career, I was definitely hopeful as it went on, but early in my career, you're just trying to stay afloat and be a part of the NHL, and it was so much fun.
Iggy, you were talking about how nervous you've been over the last couple of nights, having a hard time sleeping, waiting for that call. Let me take you now to the calls you got to make, and the fact that you then had the ability to share that information to the people who mean so much for you. What was it like to make those calls to your loved ones?
Well, I'll be honest, we got a little bit of a confusion today. We're in BC. We came back to Kelowna June 1st, and we did the quarantine and everything, and for a couple of weeks. So we're a little bit off on our times, and we had a thing planned, a family here, my wife, kids, my dad is over, her parents, my brother, my sister, and her family. And so we had a whole thing planned that potentially, if we get the call, it'll be so exciting. But I was behind. When I got a call from Lanny, I was actually out, and I wasn't with the family and stuff. And I messed up the times. It's one of those things. I guess I was a little late sometimes in my career, so some people will say it's fitting. But it was still extremely special. When I got that call from Lanny, it's something that I'll never forget. And where I was, it's sitting in a car by myself, but I got it wasn't how I had pictured it, but it was just as awesome anyway. And I did call my mom, and I called my dad, and my wife, and friends and teammates have been very, very nice and wishing me well. And it's been awesome. And like I say, it really makes me reflect and appreciate. You can't just to make it to the NHL and just to play junior and beyond, you need so much help from other people, and I certainly had that and was very blessed.
Jarome, I mean, there's so many great moments in your career, playing in the NHL, being a 50-goal scorer. But I want to take you back to the Olympics of 2002. And, you came to the camp, unexpectedly, and then you not only made your way onto the team, but you became a real important figure on that team. What meaning did that have for you to not only be part of that team, but to realize how good you can be and contributing to a roster of stars to take you to that next stage of your career?
Yeah, that was really that was a big turning point for me, I think, in my career and gaining confidence. Like I say, when I first broke into the NHL, just trying to establish and just trying to earn a roster spot and a regular roster spot and get played regularly. And my first year, I had a good rookie season and got lots of opportunity. And second year, I had a little bit of a sophomore slump and got injured and had a tougher time. And the third and the fourth, they were getting better, but it was just kind of going. And I still think, I got a late invite to the camp that was going on in Calgary. I believe someone got injured. I think it was Simone Gagne got injured. And so I think I got a call because I was close, and I got the camp had already been going on for a day. So I got a late invite, but I was thrilled to get down there, but also very nervous, getting a chance to be on the ice with, the guys that were there, Lemieux and Sakic and Yzerman, and the list literally goes on. And these are guys I looked up to. I didn't know if I belonged. And, when I skated with them, people were great, and just being on the same ice, I didn't shine by any stretch, but I felt like I could be out there, with Recchi and all those guys. And, we had a scrimmage. I had a couple chances. It wasn't that exciting, but it was a huge boost for me confidence wise. And that next year I was able to carry that over into the season, and, felt like maybe I could kind of take another step to be a bit more effective. So confidence, no matter, how old we are, what professionally or whatever, you hear about it a lot, but it is huge. And that was a huge step for me. Very thankful that Team Canada gave me that chance. And I think it really, really helped me in my career. And the guys I played with there at the 02 Olympics, they were awesome leaders and really, really helped me.
Speaking of huge and a time that you shone, it was nice to hear Lanny McDonald call out your name today, but personally, my favorite time I heard the name Iggy called out was back in 2010. Reflect back on that moment for us.
Yeah, that was awesome to get to be a part of the Olympics in Vancouver in Canada. And the whole experience was amazing, but for it to end the way it did, that was like a fairy book for us as players. There's a lot riding on it, obviously giving up the late lead to the U.S. and going into sudden death. And, if we knew as players, if we didn't win that, we're going to remember that and regret that for the rest as long as we ever played. But that's kind of the fun of it. Fortunately, it went the right way. And I was pretty pumped to be able to be on the ice at 4-on-4. It's tough decisions that Mike Babcock had to make. And I was fortunate. And then I got to play with the best player in the world, Crosby. And I remember the puck going into the corner, and the back, my back was to the play, but I was trying to make a move, and then I heard him yelling, "Yeah, Iggy, Iggy, Iggy!" And I've said this before, but I thought he was wide open. I didn't want to miss him. He had that urgency, and he wasn't as wide open as I thought, but he didn't need much room. And that was one of the throwing our helmets up and our gloves off like we were 12 years old. It was one of the coolest memories that I've had in hockey, and so special and so intense, and really, really thrilled, obviously, the way it went, but just to be a part of it.
Well, Jarome, on behalf of all hockey fans, let me just say thank you for allowing us to share that moment with you, and thank you for sharing this time as you are now officially going into the Hockey Hall of Fame this November. Congratulations again, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you guys, and thanks, Craig. A long time ago for drafting me there with Dallas. That was a huge thrill, and I appreciate the confidence and everything over the years. Thank you, guys.